All right, let's go to Nicole in Colorado Springs. What's up, Nicole?
Not much. How's it going?
Good. Okay, that's much better. So what's up?
My husband and I, we are expecting our second baby early next year.
Awesome.
And we are super excited about that. But I am having a lot of anxiety about sending this baby to daycare. Our first baby was a pandemic baby, so there was so much anxiety around that. And we dropped her off at 7 weeks old. We were sleeping a couple hours a night, and it was possibly the worst day of my life. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do that again. But I have a different job now, and I love it. My career is back on track after pandemic. I love my coworkers. I have a great team, flexible schedule. Like, everything is going so well. And I've looked up all the research, and I don't know, is there a good time to send a baby to daycare? Is daycare really the gulag for children? Like, is there a way I can have it all?
That is the magic question. That's the magic question. Hey, I'm laughing. I used to. So I worked at universities. I would work in housing, and I would help with move-in every year, and I would just hug these dads who dropped their kids off, and they would be, these big, tough Texas dudes, and they would be boo-hooing. And I would just, my eyes would be rolling out of the back of my head like, oh my gosh. And then when Hank came along, he was like 6 weeks or 6 months or something, and I drove him to like a Tuesday, Thursday school at some local church in my community. And I sat in the parking lot and wept. It was like coming to an end, man. I remember that day so much, man. Jeez Louise. All right. Here's what I want to do. I want to avoid the first half of your question.
Okay.
Here's why. There's so much competing drama when it comes to research.
Yes.
There's so much competing drama when it comes to gender equity discussions and fairness and what the workplace, quote unquote, owes us, and is it best for our kid, etc. Right? There's so much stuff around that, right? And then there's the other complicating factor. Here's what I think. I think that if we say out loud, ideally, a parent stays with that kid.
Yeah.
Then the millions and millions and millions of people who can't afford to do that get thrown into a shame blender. And so instead of having that hard conversation, everybody just stays away from the conversation, right? So here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what my opinion is on that particular part of it. What's more important is the second part of your question.
Yeah.
Can you have it all? And so hear me say this. You know this, and maybe it will help to have some just a male say it out loud. Maybe that will help. I don't know if it will.
Yeah.
You have entered into an industrial guilt complex that is designed intentionally to make you as a modern woman who is a mother and an extraordinary professional never be able to put both feet on the ground.
No.
Because if you put both feet on the ground, you'll quit buying crap and you'll quit reading everything. Seriously, I'm totally serious. The way to keep a mother off kilter and buying things is to tell her you are failing your kid. And then you stay home, and then to tell her immediately, you are failing generations of women who went before you and fought for the right for you to go do that. What are you doing, right? There's no way to win.
Yeah.
And when you're at home, you're looking at the best way to do this. I'm going to approach it like a career. And then you realize, oh, there's no way you can't win, right? I mean, there's just so many. And then I'm going to approach a career. I'm going to find a great sitter. I'm going to find a great nanny. And the whole time you're like, wow, that meeting was more important than my kid.
Yes.
Oh, this meeting was way more important than spending an hour with. And then you sit with your kid, and it's the most boring time ever. It's the worst. It's the worst. And then at the end of that boring hour, your kid just craps everywhere. And you think, I would have done way better if I was at work, like doing things that contributed to. So, right. So, you know all this stuff. I'm just saying it out loud so you know you're not crazy.
Yeah.
There's not a way to win. And to answer your question, no, you cannot have it all. Unless you are a bajillionaire, and most of us are not. Are you one of those?
True. We are not. We are in a good place. Like, we could make it like we could make it without my income. Like, we just wouldn't have the extra to save, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Is that a true statement or is that a dramatic statement? Meaning, we could make it. If you changed your life up, would y'all be just fine?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Like, I'm always skeptical when people are like, well, we can't afford it. I'm like, I want to see the numbers. Like, we are dedicated. Like, we could do it.
They are there. I've talked to a bunch of them that I look at it and say, I don't know how you can stay in this state, unfortunately.
Yeah,
right?
100%. 100%. I have friends that are that way. And it's like, and that's where, like you said, the guilt thing, it just
never stops. Yes.
Ridiculous to do to people who are like, oh my God, you don't stay home with your kid. It's like, well, some people don't have the option.
There you go. That's right.
So I would have the option. I think it's better for my mental health and my sanity to at least work part-time.
Okay.
So I think that's what I'm leaning towards. Would it be, like, I keep wanting to go back to the research, so because I've read so many articles. Would it be better to find an in-home daycare provider if we could versus a daycare center? Like, I love our daycare, and our daughter has a great routine. I can always count on them to be there. Like, she's so smart.
I think I don't have any of that data in front of me.
Okay.
Just spin off the top of my head. I know how important routine and environment is. I also know how important stimulation and social engagement is. And so I can flip a coin on that one right now. Now, somebody may send me, and if it's out there, feel free to email it to me. The last literature I read, and I don't even know when the study was published, and I don't even know the efficacy of the study, had some correlation between moms who stay at home and like test scores when the kid was in 10th grade or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, fine, fair, cool. I think it's going to come. Oh, now you're getting in a whole other soapbox. Here's the deal.
I know.
More data is not a good antidote to anxiety.
Okay.
That's
what I do.
I know it is. You are going to article yourself to death and never truly ask yourself, what do I want to do? And then here's the scariest thing, and we are not taught this skill in our modern world. Live with the consequences of our choices.
Yeah.
And so at some point, you're going to put the articles down, stop taking your girlfriends out to coffee and saying, okay, what do you think? And like, how did it work for you? You're going to have to stop all that. You're going to have to quit going on walks with your husband at night going, but I think, and I don't know. And he's just like, I don't, just pick something, right?
Exactly.
At some point, you're going to have to exhale and say, what I want counts. I am a good mom, and I'm a really good employee. Here's what I think is best for this particular season right now. And I'm going to give it a shot for 6 months. And if it's an absolute disaster, great. I got some more data. And which you happen to just loved, just like me, by the way. And I'm then going to move on. And I'm going to go back to work full time. And it's going to hurt, but it's right. Or I'm going to stay at home full time, and it's going to hurt, and it's right. Or I'm going to muddle through it, and I'm going to work part time. It's you're making a choice right this second that is not a forever choice. It's the best choice to make right now. For you, your husband, your family, these kids. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so take the burden off of, if I do this one thing wrong, it's all, it's not. It's not. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That little kid's going to love you. Who told you that what you want doesn't count?
Oh, it's something my therapist and I have been working on for quite a while now.
So what does your therapist think you should do?
Generally, we've just gotten better about me getting clear about what I want.
Okay.
And then telling the people close to me what I want. And that includes like my parents.
Wait. Why? Why would you tell them? Why would you tell anybody in the world other than your husband?
Because some of the decisions like would involve my parents. And so like if we have expectations or like these are the needs that I need you to meet, or these are like our boundaries, those are the things that I would need to tell them.
Can I save you the next 20 years of sadness and guilt and shame and all that? Your
Yeah.
parents don't get a vote. Take them out of take them out of your voting machine. Okay.
No. And that one hurt
I
because
know.
we've been doing that one for a while.
I know. Take them out. They don't get a vote. Because parents, there's a lot that goes into that, and you'll learn this as you have your own kids, but they have different reasons for making different decisions. And you can love them and honor them and listen, and then you got to do what's best for you and your husband, and they don't get a vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You may invite them into a certain situation or a certain moment or a certain conversation, and which is wonderful and great. But at the end of the day, you and your husband make this call. And then you can let them know, hey, here's what we're going to do. We'd love you to be involved here. And then they get to make grown-up decisions and say, we're not going to be a part of that. And that's going to hurt and sting and be sad and all that stuff. And then we're going to move on with their lives.
Yeah.
Right? Will you say it out loud?
Yeah.
They don't get a vote?
They don't get a vote. And we're working on canceling the inner dialogue too.
No.
Because I grew up with daycare is for bad moms, and it's morally superior to stay home with your kid, no matter what it costs you.
Right. I'm sorry you're carrying that stuff around.
Thank you.
Those stories you were born into and the stories people told you, because those stories become the ones you tell yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Those stories were told to you and they have a period at the end of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those stories were told. They happened. Now you can spend a whole bunch of energy trying to go back and edit those sentences, or you can do the one thing that your two little kids and your husband are desperate for you to do, which is to spend your energy writing new sentences. Here's what comes.
Correct.
Here's what comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Is that cool?
That's cool.
For whatever it's worth, I talked to a lot of folks behind closed doors who are struggling, and it's not rare that I talk to a parent that I have to report, we have to call, we have to get involved with. And so hear me say this. Your two kids are really lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Real lucky. Now, go make the right choice and don't screw this up, Nicole.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Look, hey, give yourself 6 months, okay?
Okay.
Give yourself 6 months and
That's a good
say,
plan.
I'm going to work part-time. I'm going to work from home for
Okay.
6 months. And then I'm going to reimagine it. My friend Eva, who's a writer, who's brilliant, she worked with me for the last couple of years. She was one of the few people in what I would call in my trust circle. I would write a talk and that she would say, John, this isn't funny. This is dumb. Like, you think this is so dramatic. It's not. It's over. It's just annoying. She was an absolute professional gift. And then she had baby number 4. And she came back rocking and rolling. We're on to the next. And then she just went home. She had us time.
Yeah.
And it didn't make leaving an awesome work environment easy.
No.
And this is the season she's chosen. And she's going to do other things and work from home. All that to say, but see what I'm saying? Like, every mom's got to make a different call. My wife has gone through various variations. And right now she's in a season. I don't expect it to last that way forever. None of us do. It's just the season right now.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes it's been full-time and sometimes it's 100% stay at home. It's just been a fluctuation in time and place and season. The greatest gift you can give Nicole is some grace.
Yeah.
You're mean to Nicole. Stop. If your husband was out like at a TJ Maxx, because let's be honest, that's where he shops. I can already tell. If he's hanging out at
Right.
TJ Maxx and he heard somebody talk to his wife the way you do, he'd go to jail.
He would go to jail.
Right?
Right.
Don't talk to his wife like that. He wouldn't marry someone who's a goofball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't talk to your kid's mom that way.
Yeah.
Give Nicole some grace and give Nicole some trust. Okay? And I know those are hard. You got to practice those things because they're tough. Those are hard. You got to practice.
We're getting better.
I know, but listen, and you can tell your counselor I said this. A lot of my colleagues in the mental health profession do a lot of thinking and talking about thinking.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you got to start doing and then practicing. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So make a call and sit with it for a few days. Are you going to quit your job?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay. Are you going to be 100% full-time stay-at-home mom?
No.
Ta-da! Look at that. Are you going to work full-time or part-time?
I think part-time.
Ta-da! Now, here's what's beautiful about that. You, Nicole, are going to disappoint everybody. So great.
Yes, I am.
You're going to disappoint your parents. You're going to disappoint your workplace. You're going to disappoint everybody except for the 4 people that actually matters for.
True.
Right?
Right.
Congratulations, Nicole.
Thank you.
I mean, honestly, you're a free woman. Congratulations. And put a note on the calendar 6 months from the day your baby's born. And say, we're going to revisit this. We're going to revisit this in month 5, and that gives us about 30 days to talk about how's it going, how do we feel, how's our finances, we're in an incredibly fortunate position right now financially, and then we'll reimagine it and go from there. Low pressure. And to everybody listening, I will do this. I'll make the commitment to get into that scholarship. I do get that question with some regularity, and so I'll dig into it. And I'm not afraid of the conversation about it. I don't want to wade into a bunch of social drama around the science of it, around the shame of it, around what might be optimal versus what people have to do to survive. Right. And there's just all that gets dumped into a big bucket, and then people just want to throw grenades. And I'm not interested in that. But I will dig into it. And to all you moms out there, I'm sorry that we've created a world that is focused solely on making you feel guilty. So you buy stuff to feel a little bit less guilty. My hope and prayer and dream for you guys is we rally around and create a world where y'all can feel free to trust yourselves and to listen to yourselves and to act on that. And then to say that I tried that and I didn't like it. I'm going to try something else. And that we celebrate that and we don't go, ooh, told you. And soon to be grandma and grandpa, your guilt doesn't help. Let's just dial it back about 40 or 50%.